Hello, pal number one, and welcome to your reading. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We're going to be taking a look at how it is that you are known by the heavens and hidden realms. So we'll take a look into a few aspects first so that you guys can discern whether the reading is for you or not. And then we're going to touch in at how the divine would describe you, as well as how the divine would describe your life purpose. So recently I feel like, do some of you guys has someone been eating sushi random? But I feel like the most of you guys have been going through processes of releasing energy, releasing karmic debt is what I just heard. It hasn't been easy, I know, but you made it look easy to the people outside of you. I think you guys have been facing a lot of challenges alone. But it's also at the same time making you feel lighter with you confronting the things that had been left loose-ended or something. I don't know, open, things that needed closed off and cleared and let go of. You guys have been doing it really, really well. And I think you're coming out of the top of it now is what I just heard. Perhaps you guys felt like you guys were crawling out of like a cave or a hole or something. And perhaps you guys had felt, I heard, prosecuted. Prosecuted. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Perhaps you guys had locked yourself away for quite some time, or perhaps you guys had been beating yourself up over something in the recent past. I think through that, it was a catalyst for you guys to do some integration healing work, shadow work, pile number one. And I think that that would probably be the best way to describe what you guys have been going through in your recent past, shadow work. I think you came to confront a lot of repressed or suppressed emotions, which was why you were feeling prosecuted, because you had you were damning yourself, pile number one, by ignoring the truth of your needs and what was really going on. You were kind of condemning yourself and hurting yourself, and you guys were put into a space, thankfully by your guides, to confront what was not right, what was not sitting comfortably with you, or what was becoming unhealthy for you as you were making progress along your journey. Okay, so so how is it that pile number one sees themselves at this time of them choosing this reading? How are the viewers of pile number one viewing themselves? Thank you. So you guys, yeah, this is why you feel light, and why the cleansing where it came up. See, if you look at this card, it's all about forgetting who it was that you were, letting go of programming, letting go of conditioning, learning to heal trauma so that we can let go of the attachment that that trauma has on us. For example, like the impact that past memories might have on us now. So it's like when you think back on memories, there were times where your memories used to be really, really heavy on you. And there were prior times to now where you would reflect on your memories and it would have such harsh emotional impact on you. I think you've found now that you've learned lessons through reflecting on your past. The way that you used to reflect on your past, it was more like, well, why? What's wrong with me? This time when you went into your shadow work, you approached things from a perspective of, what can I learn from this? What am I needing to learn about myself? And how can I learn to nurture my relationship with myself so that I can be happy and I can be feeling fulfilled or sustained, or I can feel whole, sovereign. And I think you guys are feeling clear and ready to discover who it is that you are again, to learn. And I think you guys are yearning growth. You're wanting to run free is what I just heard. So we have use your time well. And this one wanted to come up, correct errors. So I think you guys are noticing how you have recreated consequences from prior actions. And those prior actions were based on a perspective and a belief system that you held of yourself, or a partnership that you held of yourself. And now it's like you guys are ready to use your time in ways of recorrecting your lifestyle and your environments and your commitments. And it's like you renewed yourself, you rebirthed yourself. So now your whole reflection of your outside life is going to start to shift to reflect who it is and how it is that you are now aligning. And that's what you're going to start to see, and what you're going to feel driven towards doing is correcting past choices to then create better consequences, or in other words, outcomes. Okay, so thank you for that, Wairua. Let's go ahead and take a look at how it is that the divine would describe you at this time. So if those prior messages didn't resonate with you, this probably isn't the reading for you guys. But if it did resonate, then these following messages are for you. Pile number 1, through the divine, please. How is it that the seraphim want to come through for you, pile number 1? Now, the seraphim is divine, but they're a particular collective entity that is in service of the highest and greatest good. They are known as creator angels, and that's because they understand that God is everything. God is in everything. God is you, God is me, God is the world, God is that rock that's outside, and God is in that window that you look outside every day. He's in your bed, as disturbing as that might seem. And what happens is the seraphim is a collection of beings in one. Think of Transformers. And they come together as a combined force. So they are not one regular entity. If anything, they are many, all in a new, evolved and much more advanced form. So what they're saying, before I take a look at this card, because it's upside down to me at the moment, they want to talk to you because they want to remind you of your creative force. They are creative angels. They abide and are only obedient to the will of God. Your creative force should be obedient to your source, who it is that you are. And who it is that you are is much deeper than what you seem. And I think you've realized this, but you still haven't realized the true potency or power of your creative force yet. And that's why the seraphim has wanted to come through to you. You forgot it, but at the same time, you never forgot your potential. Something about the potential that you've already realized. This is a phase of life where you're going to be stepping into a cycle where you're going to start to actualize what you've realized. Is that right? I think that's right. So I'm hearing a lot of harmonies and a lot of soul. I just saw an emblem, and it looked like, you know, the handle to a flame torch, like what you get at the Olympics, but they use a stick, don't they? So think the Statue of Liberty and how she holds the torch. The torch kind of looks like that, but it has a spiral inside of it, and it's pure light. So I think you guys are actually in touch with the angelic realm. I think you guys channel messages from the divine. I think you help connect the world to the divine. You bring divine consciousness into this realm, because when you are committed to the authenticity of yourself, you are embodying divine energy as it is, and you ground it into the world around you. Then it becomes you through every creation of which you enact, such as your breathing, your words, the way you blink, to the way that you choose to perceive people outside of you and pass on what you see. So we have the whale totem, and then we also have the golden egg. You speak the true beauty of the subconscious mind. The hidden truths within people you're very good at seeking out and delving into, and that's how the seraphim would describe you. You're someone who talks to the hearts of others, and you prioritize understanding. You want to help people to move into a space of purity and innocence and safety, and you do this by quite literally seeing the beauty that's been deemed as ugly and bad. And that's how the seraphim kind of describe you. And this is how you create perspective shifts within other people. So you catalyze people into awakenings of themselves, pile number one, and that's how the seraphim would describe you. You point out the hidden beauties or the misunderstandings of one's individuality, and you help people to see the true beauty of that. And you have the Midas touch, is what I just heard. So you guys could be creative people, creative souls. Some of you sing, some of you write, some of you paint, some of you do art in whichever form that might be. Some of you are yoga practitioners, instructors, I don't know, mixed martial art teachers. You might teach the mastery of the art of the body or health in some way, or the psyche, because I keep saying books and then people moving. It's like kind of like I'm seeing is it feng shui, and then I'm seeing karate. I don't know. So for some of you guys might be really active athletes, or you guys might help people to understand the energetic points of the body. You have deep insight of the makeup, either of like personality types, archetypes, astrology. You help people to understand the heart and the body, as well as the psyche or the soul, the combination of all, of within. That's why you're in connection with the seraphim. Okay, so sorry guys if this seems ungrounded and very scattered. I think you guys are very fast-paced in energy, and outside of you it might seem scattered. But when you are able to spend time with yourself and you have a pen and paper, you'll find that you're actually very good at bringing organization and order to your mind and your thoughts and your feelings, because you are aware of your mind, your subconscious mind, and the unconscious mind. I don't know. You guys might be very deeply reflective. Once you move through the subconscious mind, you move into the unconscious mind of possibility. So it's not embodiment or experience, it's the imagination of the what ifs. That is the unconsciousness. Pile number one. You have a lot of what if questions, like what if this happens from this sort of application of choice. That's the unconscious. You're traveling the unconscious mind. Please understand that that's also astral projection. And you have the power to command where you are projecting your consciousness or your focus based on how it is that you are in discipline of your thoughts. You help bring people to this realization as well when you are balanced within yourself. So you also help people to understand the truth of their desires, and you help people to see through the illusions of their distractions. And you wipe out the feelings of procrastination and the lostness. You help people to feel found. Yeah. I heard you have a profound way of speaking for some of you to the ego. You help to disarm the ego of others outside of you. And that's how you can get past all the illusions and the distractions, because you've done a lot of ego work within yourself. I mean, I think you would openly say you're not someone who has killed your ego, but I would say that you're someone who's in very, 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 very refined discipline of your ego. And you're very good at taking ownership of your ego, leading people through their ego, or at least the unhealthy parts of who it is that they deem themselves to be, and you help them to transform that, alchemize what is disabled within them to enable them so that they can use what is a strength in positive ways, whereas most of the world right now are using their natural strengths but in negative ways or unhealthy ways, which unfortunately poisons the potential of it. And you're very good at correcting people and helping them to remember what it means to use their potential in positive ways so that they can become positive impacts in their world and step into their own leadership roles. You lead through example, which is why people respect you and love you. And because you speak the truth from experience, people can't hate on you And that's what disarms the ego, you see, pile number one. You're very family orientated, and people see the true value of you. You might not. There's still a little bit of release work to be done here. It's to do with your leadership. You are a humble leader and you have nothing to fear. You deserve what you have worked for. So please don't feel uncomfortable with winning, pile number one, because you're going to enter into a time period where you are going to be winning, and there are going to be people around you who might make you feel a little bit guilty about that. This is where you're going to find yourself stepping into the invitation of building more boundaries with yourself that are much more refined and healthier for the new point of evolution that you have found yourself at. Does that make sense? I just saw the cat totem as well, which means, yeah, your next phase of life is going to require a lot of self-nurture from you in order, self-nurture and self-observation and a lot of rest. Because if you look at a cat is really good at lazing in the sun, but what they're really doing is collecting energy and healing. Another thing about them is that their purr is very healing as it is. The sound and vibration from their purrs are very, very healing. So I'd say humming to yourself when you're feeling low vibration, start to hum a higher vibration that you feel comfortable with. Like for me right now, my vibration, I feel comfortable with it's my low vibration right now, which I feel is quite grounding for me. So you're going to find yourself wanting to hum through pitches and tones. Observe how you feel when you hum these vibrations, pile number one, because it will help you to identify with what you're hearing in pitch and tone outside of you and your clear audience. Does that make sense? Because if you pay attention to the hum, you'll start to understand what that hum makes you feel, and then that will help you to identify with the frequency or the vibration outside of you. That will help you to become more adjusted to your psychic abilities within your clear audience. So yeah, a lot of rest is going to be important because you're going to go through advancements of your psychic abilities. Yeah. With this being here, the lizard, this talks about how you're going to identify with how you're shifting through your consciousness as advice. Move and adapt as you feel necessary, because you're already very intuitive, pile number one, at least as what's been described to me. You know, so it's important that you trust yourself with that. Just know that there'll be advancements, or you're going to recognize new ways that your psychic abilities are working with you right now. Okay, so for pile number one, please, Seraphim, please describe to me what is their life purpose in this journey. To create balance in life around you, within yourself. You are peacekeepers, pile number one, and that's what you're here to focus on, manifesting and upkeeping for yourself. A lot of you guys are alchemists, manifestation sorcerers. Some of you guys could also identify to be priests or priestesses. A lot of you guys could do energy work, especially with grids, grid lines. I don't know, it's like energy work, but with the earth. Or with like the universe. Some of you guys have a special relationship with the universe. It's like quantum physics. You guys might have a good scientific relationship with spirituality, and if so, you guys are going to be shifting outside of science and more so into the psyche. There's also some of you here that are going to be recognizing corruption within spiritual teachings, and you guys are going to be teaching better ways, or more in-depth and much more informative ways of working with energy. Some of you guys could be energy healers, such as Reiki, is feng shui and energy healing type. I feel like that's more so like moving things around in your home, because you have foresight of like stagnant energy. And you shifting things around physically helps you to shift things around mentally and energetically as well. So housework could be very therapeutic for you guys, or you guys could have a practice or a form of a talent or skill set that you guys need to practice in more when you are taking time out with yourself, because this will help you to reflect more. It's very therapeutic is what I just heard, and that will help you to connect with your unique connection with your guides, with the divine, or with your source, you see. So right here, I'm not really here to tell you what your life purpose is, because quite literally, you're discovering it. You're choosing your life path. You're in a form of self-mastery, which means you're the leader and creator of your destiny. You've already done so much work around your karma that there's nothing fating your pathway moving forward right now. You are building that future fate for yourself through your conscious choices in the here and now. And I see that in your purpose, that is a big thing, teaching people what it means to be present, to be grounded, to be connected to the reality, so that they can understand that they have the power to influence the future. And this is something that you've done a lot of work within yourself. Now I see here that some of you guys could actually have a purpose with things like perfume or beauty. You have a very good perspective of what people are desiring or what people want. You have a keen eye for seeing what's missing and learning how or what you need to be to add what's missing in. So that is your niche. Pile number one, you're good at looking at what's missing and then conjuring or designing or creating that to add it in. And that's why I believe like your purpose is something you are designing for yourself, because it's something that's not here. It's something that's authentic to you. So how can I really give you that answer? And I think that's something that you guys might have been seeking for a while. But that answer is solely going to come from you, because I can't tell you what your true core passion is. I can't tell you what is truly meaningful to the core of who it is that you are. I can suggest things, but I can't tell you, you know. And I would hope that you're not looking for someone to tell you, because once again, you're here to step into the true potential of yourself. And no one can tell you that, because that's proved to yourself through your trial and error processes and practices and experiences. And I think this is something that you're going to find yourself actually appreciating a lot more and unfolding the wisdom of to yourself to then share with others outside of you. And that's when you're going to get a very clear perspective of a purpose or a passion or something that is really, really meaningful to you that you have been in denial of in the past. For some of you, it's something that's been passed down in generations in your family. And I don't know what that is. It could be like something that you know that not many people know. And you know how it could be very helpful for many different people. And you're being called to share that with other people outside of you. So sorry guys, I'm just trying to bring order to all the energy that's here. So take what resonates. Life purpose for pile number one. You have walking away, hostility, community, and reverse and storm warning. You're here to create a difference and help people to face their issues that they try to escape, so that they can actually bring resolve. You help bring ends to distractions, once again with the community in reverse here. With hostilities up, right? You help to show people what is really of truthful matter, what is worth paying attention to, and you help people to discern their fights wisely. You help people to understand that anger is not a bad thing, violence is not a bad thing, it's how we use it. Anything about ourselves, nothing in this world is actually inherently bad or evil. Nothing. It's how we choose to use it and apply it in the world around us that can make it evil or bad. You know, I use this example a lot. You can do a good thing for a bad reason. Does that make it actually good? You can do a bad thing for a good reason. Does that make it actually bad? That's the kind of wavelength that I feel like you guys operate through. And you help present options to people, with the storm warning being here and walking away in reverse. You help present options of how to evolve things, make things better, how to problem solve, and once again, how to bring balance to areas of life where there is chaos. You are a chaos magician, pile number one. You're a chaos priestess, which means you are good at taking the bad and disciplining that bad into something that is good. And that is your purpose here. And you will find wherever it is that you go in this life, you will be respected for your ability to see the good that is in the bad. And that is your purpose. That is why you are here. Part of your purpose is pointing out the good that is in the bad so that you too can inspire the perspective and energy shift that is necessary within the other people around us to help us to better the lifestyle that we are collectively sharing, you know. So you have a big purpose because you are influencing collective. Because your energy is contagious, because your divine frequency is rare and captivating, which means it's inspiring. You're trendsetters, not followers, pile number one. And the more you are able to stand in your authenticity, the more you are able to embrace this impact or magnetism, and to accept your natural shine. You have a big heart, and I think you put it down to that, but that's quite modest, if I'm honest, pile number one. It's not just how good your heart is. It's who you are altogether. Like the way you think, the way you internalize information, the way you face the unknown, and the way you have overcome your challenges that most people wouldn't even imagine facing. And I mean that because that is a part of the initiation to step into this mastery of building your own faith. So I think you should give yourself some more credit, and I think that's what the Seraphim are passing on to you. Please remember the potency of your creativity, and the more you beat yourself up, just remember that is still a creation in itself that causes aftermath effects and ripple effects. So be wise when using your creative force, because you are here to do powerful things, and your focus is very, very, very strong. And that's what quickens your manifestation abilities because of how intense and sure your focus is, pile number one. That will help you to master or at least discipline your psychic abilities so that you can use them more consciously in your everyday life. I hope that makes sense. With all that being said, pile number one, I'm sorry if this wasn't exactly what you were expecting, but this is what the Seraphim wanted me to bring through for you guys. So I hope this helps. With all that being said, until next time, bye. Hello, pile number two, and welcome to your reading. Thank you guys so much for being here today. So we're going to be taking a look at how it is that you're known by the heavens and hidden realms. So first we're going to take a look at some placements that will describe your current position, and that's how you're going to be able to use the energy to identify if the reading is for you or not. And then we're going to touch in to how it is that the divine would describe you and your life purpose. So I'm seeing, I was downloading information while I was trying to open up the message. So I was seeing the number 7 in purple. You guys have been doing really well at following the signs and synchronicities. Pile number 2 is what I'm hearing here. You're doing so well is what I just heard. And I think you guys have been traveling the air element. Have you guys been doing a lot of more breath work recently, or studying into the philosophies behind breath work? For some of you, you guys have been studying the philosophy behind the signs and synchronicities of what you've been following. So like for some of you, you've actually like been seeing, I don't know, 777, 111, 222, and it's like you're googling the meaning of these numbers, and you'll be finding that the messages are resonating with either life advice, soul advice, clarity or confirmation, validation. Others of you guys have actually stepped into honoring what your instincts have been saying to you. I think you guys have been going through an awakening recently, where you've been realizing that there's much more meaning to life than what you had initially realized or understood. And this is what's been powering your consciousness shift, pile number 2, from what I'm hearing here. Pile number 2, you deserve to have much more confidence within yourself. I think you guys have been looking for a deeper meaning in life. And what I just heard, there's a mother figure here, a grandmother, a mother, a grandmother, an auntie, someone who is older than you that used to look after you when you were young, pile number 2. Now you're gonna know if this message is for you because you would have seen signs around your house, and some of you guys have been getting a lot of repeating feathers randomly, and I don't know why. This lady sewed a lot. She keeps showing me a sewing pin, but it's like a quilt pin. And she was she's very emotional. She's trying to say, this might, take it as it resonates. Take it in as it resonates because I don't know who it's for. But she's saying, you're much more than what you thought or what you think. And it's painful for all of your guys' spirit team to sit back and have you contemplate your meaning in such ways where it's defeating. Please stop comparing who it is that you are and what it is that you have to offer to this world, because you're so much more special than what you give yourself credit for, and you don't see it yet, and you don't. And I'm saying this to you too. We're all saying it. I just heard we're all on board. You're so much more than what you give yourself credit for, and Spirit are really wanting you to just sit without seeking who you are. Who are you right now? How do you think right now? How do you speak? How do you choose to behave? What is the attitude you have? How do you perceive the world? What do you believe in? Where is it that you've come from? Who is it that you are now? And who is it that you want to be? That is who you are. All of it. Which means you're everything, pile number 2. Everything. If you can build understanding with someone outside of you, well done. You just went ahead and you found yourself in them. That's your empathy. And I think this is something else that you guys have been recognizing, the collective consciousness, how you are in everyone and how everyone is a part of you. And things that used to trigger you, I think, pile number 2, you're starting to find that they don't trigger you anymore. Instead, they pull you into a space of placing yourself in their shoes so that you can internalize what they must be going through, so that you can then bring forward information that you know is going to be helpful to them, because you would hope to receive that information if you were them, So let's go ahead and say, I just saw an air balloon. Air balloon. Some of you guys might have been in an air balloon before, or some of you guys feel like you have been floating. You guys have had much better control over your thought form patterns. And I'm also seeing a crop circle for some reason. We have the patience and 4th chakra. Some of you guys actually might be looking into the philosophy of humanity, or like the history of humanity, and you guys are following like star, seed, ancestral lines. If that is the case, I see you guys writing a book about it later, or sharing a lot of information publicly about it later. Keep following your philosophy, pile number 2, if that is true to be the case, and that is you. If you're writing a book of any sort, for the matter, I see you guys being very, very successful. It's more about allowing the times to be supportive of your creation. Hold on to what you've got, because it's truly a gem, is what I just heard. You're truly the gem, is what I just heard, as described by the divine. So what is the current position of those who are viewing pile number 1? Sorry guys. What is the current position of those who are viewing pile number 2? We have the 6th chakra, Archangel Metatron. So Archangel Metatron was known as someone who had a very strong understanding of energy, vibration, and frequency. He was very much a master of sacred geometry, scribemanship, interpretation, divine connection. He was a scribe for the divine. He wrote down a lot of what he was told by the divine. So I would feel as though you guys could identify to be oracles. is from what I'm feeling here. You guys could do a lot of automatic writing or have a hidden talent for automatic writing. I also feel like Archangel Metatron is a master of understanding intention and motive as well. He's very good at being able to help others to personalize the higher perspective behind low vibrational things, if that makes sense. So you guys might work with Archangel Metatron, and if you do, I would say he's asking you guys to connect with him more intentionally. I'm being shown he's going like this with keys. He's holding keys outside of a dungeon door, and he's going like this. And then he puts the key in and the door swings open, and then he goes, welcome in. This is him welcoming you into the Akashic records, which you are accessing through your subconscious mind. So deep REM state. I don't know what that is. Some of you guys might study sleep states, but REM sleep or something is somehow applicable to you. So if like sleep states are important for you, I would go and look into REM sleep, because that might explain to you something that you might need to know. I don't know. But others of you, you guys are going to start to get much more dreams. You guys are going to start to get much more daydreams as well, and go through life revelations, if that makes sense. So you're going to realize a lot of belief system shattering things. And it's going to move you into a new position of advancement. So that's why this patience is here, because you guys are advancing into Christ consciousness, which is mastery over love, mastery over your life, mastery over your mind, body, and energy, and connection with the divine. Your spirit team, it helps you to live in your heart center, which means you're in accordance to your soul. You're living in true embodiment of your higher self. And you guys are wanting to work towards doing this, becoming your best self, living a life that is most fulfilling and most reflective of who it is that you are at a core level. You see? And I'd say that's what you have been working on, and you're prepared to put in the time and the work. But at the same time, like I said, you guys are following the signs, being motivated by curiosity really, really well. Really, really well. And commending you for that. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how it is that the divine would describe you. I need to sneeze, but it's not doing what it needs to do. You guys might have allergies. Random. So yeah, you guys are known by your community, and if not, you guys are going to be in your future. You're seen as a respected addition or a valuable person to a family group, a friend group, or a community. You stand out of the crowd pile, number 2, and that's how the divine would describe you. They would also describe you as someone who is also very private. You allow people to know you to a degree of what you allow them to know you at. You know what I'm saying? You're a very private person, but you're very honest at the same time. It's not like you're intentionally hiding out of spite or maliciousness, or like with the intent to manipulate or for any negative reason. It's more like you know who you're safe to be, and to which degree you are safe based on who it is that you're around. So for example, you're not going to go out to your next door neighbor and tell your neighbor like your whole life story and all your deepest, darkest secrets, because why? And then what are they going to do with that information? You know what I mean? You are the types of people to hold back what you know people don't need to know. You know, you don't just let anyone into your space. And I respect that, because I operate quite a lot like that. I'm a very private person. I mean, I'm open. I'm an open book. If you ask me anything, I will be 110% honest with you every time. Every time. And if I can't be, I'm going to tell you. I can't be honest with you about it, so I'm not going to tell you. You know what I'm saying? And I think you guys are very much to the point in this way as well. And with you being so nitty gritty about everything with yourself, it allows you to be very much attuned and grounded into the reality that is taking place outside of you, because you're not illusionated by so many unordered thoughts. And you don't have people intervening in your life, because they don't have the power to without the right information. I think you guys have gone through a lot of, from what's being described to me, I think you guys have gone through a lot of betrayals within your connections. 2 moments, please. Sorry about that, pile number 2. I just had to check the door. I thought someone was here. Where were we? Yeah, I think you guys have been through some betrayals, either within your community, or within like your past connections, within your family, your loved ones. Perhaps some of you guys even felt like you were shut out of like a place that you thought you would have belonged really, really well. Or you could have been like turned away from a friend group that you got along with really well in the past, but it taught you like how to move forward and protect yourself from the types of company that you don't want. For others of you, this is also talking about you learned a lot about how people can be so alike to you but so corrupted. You know what I'm saying? And this is what has made you put up boundaries and taught you very valuable wisdom about sharing and what not to share, if that makes sense. With this being here, I also think, as described by the divine here, you guys are seen as protective forces for the people outside of you, the people who don't have a voice, who don't have the empowerment, or don't feel like they have the ability to stick up for themselves or to speak their minds or to stand up for what it is that they believe in. People who feel like that they've been turned away and shunned, you know what I'm saying? People who feel like they're neglected or abandoned. You're very good at protecting and helping to teach them what it means to protect themselves, to love themselves, to value themselves, to look after themselves, you know. And people really look up to you because of that. The divine sees you as an amazing kind of light warrior, if I'm honest. Like, what do we call them? Is that what we call them? Light workers, light warriors. You've faced and battled a lot of low vibrational beings, a lot of low vibrational consequences, and a lot of low vibrational things in order to protect what you love and what you believe in. How would the divine describe those who have come to view pile number 2? The divine would describe you as someone who has had to grow up, probably very quickly. Some of you would even probably feel yourselves to be someone who has gone through a lot of different lifetimes in one life. And that's how the divine would describe you, with number 17 being there, which reduces down to number 8. You've gone through a lot of transformational processes, a lot of different versions of yourself or time frames, you know what I'm saying? I think you guys might find yourself to be very close with animals more than you are with people, like humans. I think you've also been following your own self-reflections much more seriously. Like, you're learning to take yourself more seriously, which is why you're going to start to see results start to manifest, because you're taking yourself more seriously, which is aligning the energy outside of you and putting it into a focus, which directs it to manifest in one way. Now, I think there were certain actions that needed to be taken that you guys were ignoring, but you're no longer ignoring your better judgment. Is what I just heard. Yeah, which is helping you to step into your personal power and helping you to understand and see your courage or your strength and your resilience in a much different way, much more evolved and much more higher perspective. You get me? So how would the divine further describe my pile number 2s? What makes them special? So what makes you special, pile number 2, is that you are a hidden force. You're a powerhouse. Underneath the surface, because of everything that you've gone through and everything that you've faced, you've had to learn how to heal a lot of toxicity, either within yourself or within people outside of you. You could have even come from a really toxic place, and you've seen a lot of toxic things, and you've gone out and told more people about these things. You guys create awareness in ways that are impactful. You guys are very good with your discernment as well, from what I'm hearing here. Like, you're very good at discerning time, when to enact, when to wait. And you guys can hibernate for a really long time on an idea and know when's the best time to go after it or execute it or actualize your ideas and inspirations, which allows you to manifest at the best possible time. So you manifest rejuvenation, not just for yourself, but for people outside of you. A lot of people are fascinated by you because of your growth processes, pile number 2, and people find you very confusing because you're very authentic. And a lot of people are intimidated by your authenticity, quite honestly. You bring people out of their own fantasies. Like a lot of people, you call out the people who are not real. You really do. And you might not even intentionally do it. You call them out by being real. Like, that's the thing. Like, you prove to people that you are who you claim to be and that they are kind of just their own phony. And that's why they get insecure. And you might find a lot of people avoid you. That's why, because you prove to them that how phony they are to themselves. And they recognize it as like something that's bad, when it's their own sense of self-rejection that they're noticing but not recognizing consciously. You are a mirror to people, from what I'm hearing here with these 3 totems. I also think that you're very good at divinating the truth out of people, with the turtle totem mixed with the cosmic egg being here, pile number 2. You're very good at divinating the reasons as to why people do what they do, why they want what they want, what drives them, where their ambitions lie, where they would be very good in accelerating life. You're someone who helps people to understand themselves better than they understood themselves before they came across you, at least. You know what I'm meaning? And this is because you genuinely pay attention. You listen. You wait. You gather information. And you ask the necessary questions. And you simplify complicated things. You're very good at simplifying. Like, for example, I see this one person coming to you with one problem that has led to like 100 problems. And you're like, those 100 problems aren't actually problems. They're just aftermath effects from the one problem that is an actual problem. You get me? Which is similar to pile number 1, but this is in a different way, because you help to remove obstacles that prevent people from stepping into their potential. That's what makes you different and special. You build people up, pile number 2. You're an amazing force for that, making people feel safe, helping people to understand that stagnancy isn't the end. Failure isn't the end either. It means reapproach. It means reevaluate. It means learn more. You're very good at being that motivating force in people's lives, and it brings a lot of joy and happiness to people outside of you. And because of these skill sets, you create and support a lot of relaxation in ways that many other people don't have the luxury of experiencing. I think that you guys are wayfinders, and you set people free. You help people to understand where it is that they're going to best grow or best fit in, how it is that they can stand out in their own skills and talents, and that's part of your life purpose here. You see what I'm saying? You're very innocent with your intentions and your approaches, and that's what makes you so powerful within your manifestation abilities, because you're pure and you're doing it for the reasons of love, genuine love. It's powering your manifestation ability, advancing it and enhancing it, which makes your manifestation so much quicker for other people, because you're doing it with a meaning or with an intense feeling that is pure and raw. And that's why you'll find manifestations for others happens really quickly through you, because the power of your feeling and your compassion and your love for them is so raw and true. The words that you speak to others as well is empowering, and it's loving, and it's authentic, and it's intense and truthful feelings to you. If you can embody all of that practice for yourself, you're going to find yourself manifesting for you in the ways that you've been wanting to. This will help you to balance out your energy as well. Now, some of you have healing voices. You sing healing into other people. Quite truthfully, some of you are motivational speakers and you can speak healing into other people outside of you, or you help, once again, counsel people or therapy people into understanding their deepest truths and how it is that they need to set boundaries with themselves to protect themselves, and what it is that they need to take ownership of to understand how to protect others. You're very good at pointing this out to people. Helping people to understand their true power is part of your purpose. You have a deep understanding of people's needs. And I think this is because of what you have gone through, what you've gone without, what you have had, and where it is that you've found yourself now. You've been through very many different stages, and it's much more than what you have allowed yourself to take credit for. And I think in this next phase of life, at least being supported by the divine, you're going to find yourself walking a journey of rebalancing your self-understanding, reclaiming your power to then go out into the world and teach what it means to understand their power in healthy ways and in ways that support better beginnings for the future world, which helps you to set out reasonable standards and refined protection methods and teach people what not to do to protect themselves from future suffering, if that makes sense, you know. What is part of their life purpose, please? What is their life purpose? Yeah, your life purpose is to create much more rest and relaxation, change for the collective. You're here to remind people that there is good after the bad, that there is hope, that there is not always a tragedy because of a circumstance, or you're not always damned to a certain way of being just because of where you are right now. You're a leader, you're an example, you're a teacher, you're a mentor, you're a motivator, you know, you're an idol, pile number 2, whether you know this or not. And whether this is in small degree or large degree, it doesn't matter. That's who you are at a soul level, as described by the divine. You're also described to be someone who moves in very modest ways. You're actually very, very, very smart, pile number 2. You're very clever, but I think, and you're very resourceful. You're a very good problem solver. You think in a very high vibrational way, which means your consciousness is advanced compared to the other people around you, but you may have been alienated for your advancement in your consciousness prior to these times. This is an age that supports your consciousness and your authenticity, so you're being encouraged to step into that in this lifetime, a part of your purpose. You're going to find yourself bridging gaps between missing information or missing misunderstandings. I don't know, because both of these cards have gaps between the lands. There's land on this side and there's land on this side, but there's water, which talks about the emotion and creativity field. There's land on this side and there's land on this side, but there's a very clear difference of the seasons, and there's a path, which means there's time involved here. So you're going to help to teach people about emotional intelligence and also the power of the psyche. You're going to also help to teach people what it means to embody in practical ways their spirituality, so that they can apply it in their everyday life and actually cultivate results from their hard efforts and work. I think that you are going to help people to move into new versions of themselves as well. And you're here to just help support the consciousness shift altogether. What is most meaningful to you, pile number 2, is how your life purpose will manifest best. What is most meaningful to you and what it is that you're most passionate about. Okay, the purpose is different, and that's who you are. So I can't tell you who you are. I can only point out things that I am passed on by the divine, if that makes sense. And that's what makes soul purpose so unique, because what is meaningful to the individual is completely unique, and how is perceived is unique to the individual's understanding of self. And when you're in mastery of understanding of self, you start to recreate in your own image, which makes it something totally new altogether. You see? And that's what the path is for you. You're here to create something completely new in a new way that has been internalized and perceived uniquely to you. So what is the advice for pile number 2? Moving into their soul purpose. Your guys' advice here is to break away from all the illusions and conditionings or propaganda and dogma that is enforced on the world around you, through you, or upon you. This is saying what you're being called to do is explore the possibilities and understand that life is that. Divinity is that. Endless amounts of possibilities. And what you choose to experience will become your purpose. The reason why it will become your purpose is because you will learn more about who it is that you are at an authentic level through the disillusionment of the reality that you have perceived. Yeah, and this is what's going to help you to build boundaries with yourself that helps you to navigate the world outside of you, but it will also help you to build boundaries with people outside of you to teach them what it means to respect you in the most appropriate ways and forms also. And that's what's going to set you free with boundaries, personal power and illusions, and also the horse totem that came out here. Any additional messages from Source for those who have chosen pile number 2? What should they focus on moving forward? Is your domestic harmony and self-discipline. Focus on building the results it is that you wish to experience. Focus on being the change it is that you wish to see, and you will start to see the motion of your life purpose manifesting without a doubt. And you will feel the shift within you, and you will recognize that the concept of time doesn't exist. That's a human-built conceived idea to fit and help navigate the system we live in, but not the reality. The reality is beneath the system, if that makes sense, happening outside of the system. And that's what you're breaking through to discipline yourself past, so that you can help bring others with you, because you're a leader. You're here to inspire, and you're here to help teach people what it means to rejuvenate themselves and step into their authenticity. You're here to help teach people what it means to navigate their cycles and life phases. And this has helped you to gain a lot of wisdom that you're going to end up stepping into later on in life, because you're going to end up becoming an elder. And I mean a real elder. We've got a lot of older beings on the planet, but they're not elders. They're young souls in old bodies. But you're here to step into eldership form, which is why you've experienced so many different phases of life, so that you have a clear perspective of how to reach those who are in those phases still once you are outside of them, if that makes sense. Pile number 2. Those are the messages that I have for you today. Thank you so very much for stopping by. I hope this has come positive service, and with all that being said, until next time, much love. Bye-bye. Hi, pile number 3, and welcome to your guys' reading. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We're going to be taking a look at how it is that you are known by the heavens and hidden realms. And first of all, we're going to take a look at a couple of placements. This is going to help you guys to identify with if the reading is going to be for you or not. We'll also touch on general messages that might come through from Spirit during the opening messages, yes. Then we'll look into how it is that they describe you, and some touch pointers on how it was, or how it is that the divine would describe your life purpose. You guys are gifted with your hands. Pile number 3. Healing hands, healing touch. Stylist. You're a stylist. Some of you guys could also craft things. You would be, if you're gifted with your hands, and you know you are, pile number 3, you'd be really good at crafting things like clay models, or like designing things. Carving is what I heard. Crafting. Some of you guys could actually be really good at working with crystals as well to then make jewelry. I don't know. You guys could have a lot of knowledge about crystal healing, or healing in general when it comes to like talismans. You guys could be crafting your own divination as well. You guys would be very talented at designing new forms of divination, and then maybe even selling them in your own craft. Some of you guys could also be in the process of designing something like your own tarot. For others of you away from spiritual practices, I can see you guys like building things. You guys could be like architects, builders, landscapers. You guys could be people who work with materials, you know, and build from the ground up, is what I just heard. Some others of you, you guys are entrepreneurs. You're working on your own businesses and building that up from scratch. Okay, we're going to be using the Isis Oracle. That hasn't come out for the past piles. So pile number 3, please. Who are they at their time of viewing this reading? We have impossible things. You guys are working through your guys' disbelief. There's been a lot of things that have really shocked you. I don't think you guys would really recognize yourself. Say, for example, if you were to go back and talk to your prior you 4 years ago and tell yourself then who you are becoming and who you've recognized yourself to be and where it is that you've evolved from, you wouldn't have believed it. You would have been hopeful for it, but you wouldn't have believed it. Yeah, you've changed quickly. I just split the deck. I think you guys have noticed yourselves going down a quickening. Now, a quickening is like an awakening, but it happens really, really fast. Like, oh, really fast. And it feels like a tower moment in your life where all of a sudden you're just being carried through cycles after cycles after cycles after cycles. And it's like a huge emotional roller coaster in a very short amount of time. This is enlightening you. That's why you're going through a quickening. Pile number 3. It's enlightening you at a rate exponential. That is exponential. I don't know what that even is. But the thing is, you're catching up on subconscious lessons. That's why it's happening all so fast, because your subconscious mind is aligning with the outer reality and the energies are combining as one, because you're actualizing everything. Through your self-growth, through your self-understanding, through your self-development, through everything that you had to let go of and everything that you've become, you're living a completely different life right now. And that's what I feel as though you're working through the disbelief of. How it was hard, but it wasn't. It just happened. You know what I'm saying? This is giving, like, some of you could find yourselves going viral overnight by accident. Some of you guys could have done like a full flip from being full atheist into full-blown believer without even trying to, because of something that happened. Some of you went from hardcore ethical religion into like hardcore spirituality. And there's like always an extreme, because you guys move through the middle so quickly. You know what I mean? And people kind of take one look at you, they go away for like 2 days, come back and see you again, and you're a completely different person. That's the sort of process that you've gone through. You won't recognize yourself to be the same person from last month to 4 months ago to 6 months ago, from a year to 2 to 3, 5. You know what I mean? You're ever evolving, and that's what this is saying. You're starting to work through the disbelief of how far you've really come and how much you've really grown. And I think you're finally getting the rewards, or at least some forms of returns of results, to validate your hard work and where it is that you're at and how much you have evolved. I know you guys are still very much aware of where you want to be, but the divine is kind of here in this moment, and they're kind of saying to us, you know, slow down a second and just see where you've already come from. Just see what we've done here, what you've got now. You've got now what you were really hoping for like a year ago. And appreciating these sorts of points in times helps us to become really present and really able to integrate the value of what it is that we're going through, what we're doing, who we are. Helps us to really gain perspective of where it is that we're propelling us toward as well, because we put into perspective the relationship that we have with ourselves. And this is what you guys have been doing, gaining a fresh perspective of who it is that you are now and who it was that you were the whole time. You just didn't see yourself in the ways that you do now, and that's why it's changing so quickly, you know, because you always were who you are. You know, that's not what I mean, but you'll get what I'm saying if this is resonating with you. So who is pile number 3 at their time of viewing this reading? Yeah, you guys are adopting a new form of love and appreciation for the life it is that you're living, who it is that you are, who it is that you've come to be, and also you've learned to love or appreciate and value the struggles, the hard times, especially because I think you'd find that it grew you like heaps. It was like blessings in disguise, is what I just heard. It helped you to tap into the true potency of your creativity as well. It probably inspired you in many new ways. It opened up a lot of doors and helped you to build a lot of windows in the walls that help contain who it is that you are inside. That's a weird analogy. I didn't even mean for it to come through like that. Action. You guys have also been learning what it means to actualize what it is that you've already realized. I think that's just re-clarifying what we said, yeah. And you've also learned to take action away from people who you know you are not good for and who you know are not good for you. You guys have been setting more boundaries and putting your foot down, saying no much more, which is much more important as well. You've been honoring your needs, and you haven't been neglecting or pushing people away. You've been approaching things in step-by-step motion, and I think that is probably, that's what's allowed you to execute yourself toward, execute challenges out so that you can propel yourself towards success. Damn, and that's why you've changed so much. Well, that's why the recognition of your growth has been so big and so hitting. Like, you're not the only one who sees your growth right now. People around you are seeing your growth. They're seeing that you set out to create what it was that you set your mind on, and you have. They see that you're building your foundations, you're collecting the facts. You've probably, like, for example, you're collecting reviews, you're collecting insights, you're collecting opinions, you're collecting results. You've gone through collecting fails and achievements and seeing trials and errors, you know, and maneuvering things around in ways that fit, in places where it fits best. So yeah, I see this as you guys have been doing a lot of reorganization. You guys have probably resettled yourselves recently. That could mean that you guys moved and that you guys are in a new city. These buildings are in the shape of cats. So yeah, you guys have been nurturing your reality to reflect what it is that you're wishing to grow for yourself, and who you're building an environment that's going to support who it is that you're becoming. And that's how the divine is kind of describing you. Removing people from your spaces that don't need to be there. It doesn't mean that you don't love them or that you don't care for them. And hey, maybe for some you don't. But, you know, for most, you still have love, you still have care, you still have respect. But it's more about also learning to build the same love, care, respect, and nurture for yourself by holding them boundaries. You know what I'm saying? So that you can focus on nurturing your highest ambitions into reality and focus your energies in the right spaces. Because unfortunately, when we don't have energies around us that complement who it is that we are energetically and naturally and authentically, there's clashes, there's a fight. It's like, think of music. Someone playing, I don't know, the completely different song to what someone else is playing on, say, guitar from piano. It's not going to sound good. I mean, it might if you make it match and the chords are similar, but usually it's not going to sound very good. You know? And that's kind of what you guys have been doing. Let's go ahead and take a look at how it is that the divine would describe you. And your ancestors want to talk to you too. Okay, we'll look into that. So, who wants this ancestors? We'll do ancestors first, which might be why we grabbed these here. Okay, so tapping into the ancestors of those who have chosen pile number 3. How would you describe pile number 3? So what I'm hearing here is that you guys were actually, that's why your ancestors wanted to come through. You've come here to break ancestral curses, unhealthy patterns, dogma, propaganda, corruption, manipulation in your bloodline. You're here to set cultural traditions straight as well, create awareness within yourself or your bloodline. Some of you are here to create like collective awareness around issues that your ancestors had background knowledge of. So the cards that came forward here is we have power of the 7 scorpions, power to conjure lower vibrational forces, which makes sense. The dark mysteries, entering the chamber of the dark goddess. We have the key of life spinning the ankh, the key of life. Then we have the initiation card here, spiritual testings of Ra and the Lady Isis. Then you have stay true and be in your own power. Interesting. So touching on all these energies, your ancestors say that you have the power to bring back up your ancestral traditions and wisdom and power, because you are an old soul, you're a reincarnated being. You were summoned by your ancestors into this lifetime. For some reason, you already know this, pile number 3. You already know this. There's something different about you. It's something that you know, or that you understand, that you have the capability. I'm so sorry, my stutter is a little bit bad today. You have the capability of accessing something that hasn't been present for a very, very long time. Some of you guys might even have the power to past life travel, look into people's past lives. If you have the power to look into your past life, you're being advised to look deeper into that for yourself. Sorry, 2 moments. Sorry about that, guys. I had to double check the piles because for some reason I thought we were traveling into pile 4. So some of you might actually have come from pile 4 or might go to pile 4. But anyway, guys, yes, if you have the power to past life read, you're being called and invited to go and look into your own past lives, because this is going to give you more insight or more look into information that you could be applying in the now or into your craft that will help you to push you forward, or accelerate you in your mission of what you're trying to do. But here your ancestors are describing that you are someone who has been conjured. You are someone who has been summoned. You are someone who has been prophesized in your ancestral traditions. And what you're here to do is be who it is that you are. You're here to be your authentic self. You probably came here as a child knowing that you had an important reason of being here, or you felt very strongly that you were here to help change something because of how meaningful and impactful it was on you. This is saying that yes, it's installed in your DNA. It's installed in your blood. It's things you have trained for lifetimes and eons and countless and versions of yourself. With the initiation and the dark mysteries being here, this is saying that once again, you have important life understanding, cultural background, philosophy, insight, spiritualism. There is something here that is very unique to you that you know you have very deep insight of, and you're being called to step into the spotlight and share it more with the world around you, because it's going to help initiate people into the truth. I don't know what this is, but it's the truth of what you're focusing on. I'm feeling like this is more in your career field, or if you are someone who is actively on your soul's journey and progression. This is talking about your soul's mission. You already know your soul's mission is to reveal the truth. And for some reason, your ability to help to teach people higher perspective, with the hawk totem being in the background there, which is Horus. I also think you're here to be a spiritual leader and purify toxicity and negativity in the world around you. You do this naturally. You lift the world up around you. Pile number 3. That's the truth. With everything it is that you do, what helps is your life experience. I just heard it was really effed up. Yeah, you guys could have recognized to have made a few mistakes in the past. But the other thing that you've come to understand is that ownership doesn't mean definition. Ownership means I understand it and I'm going to change it. I'm going to work on it because I know the bad that comes from it and I know the good that comes from it, but it's not actually as good as what something else is that you have a higher perspective of. So somewhere in life, there's an area of life that is calling for your attention all the time. That is where you're being called to focus in on and ask yourself why it has such a dominant impact on you, call to you, attraction within you. Then ask yourself how it is applicable to you. What skills does it bring out in you, or would it bring out in you? What version of yourself would you become if you were a part of that area of life that keeps calling your attention? And how would you go about it? Why would you go about it in that way? And then contemplate the good and the bad. And then that is how you're going to pretty much access your own foresight into your capabilities of what it is that you're building right now. Because right now, I don't think you know what you're building, but I see you're already in your purpose. Like you know you have a purpose, like you know. So that means if you're here with a big purpose, you're already subconsciously being driven towards it. You're recognizing how. But the thing is, pile number 4, you're being called to let go of control of how and to learn about yourself so that yourself can teach you how. That's the thing. You keep looking outside of you for people to tell you how to do this. You're not going to find it. You're not, unfortunately. And it's something that I've struggled with myself. So I'm not judging you. You know, it's something that I used to get very frustrated with until I learned the wisdom of learning to release control and adopting flow. Because flow is discovery. That is feminine receptivity, allowing the masculine, which is the manifestation of light outside of you, to come to you, and you using that light in the best way that you know how, through knowing the best of through knowing yourself and applying yourself in the best way you know how in that moment with the light you have received. And the light is the manifestation or the experience. Does that make sense? So, yeah, that's how the divine is kind of describing you. You've had a guardian force who has been very, very present since you were a child, just so you know. They watch over you a lot. They want you to know that. And they are from your ancestral line. They were like known as like a priest or a priestess in your past, or a clairvoyant, or nature worshipper, or chief, or I don't know, a chief's wife. As someone of prestige in the past in your ancestral line. And that's who's wanting to talk to you guys. If you were to go and look into your ancestral line and your cultural background, you'll find the person that I'm talking about, because they'll be the person that had the prestige through your bloodlines. Now, a lot of your life purpose as well, and it's a part of who it is. Your life purpose is you, right? So this is going to be a description of who you are as well as your purpose. So I hope I make it make sense. But you're here to help to purify and cleanse what is outdated, what is outworn. Some of you might feel as though you guys were the black sheep, because I just was shown a black sheep intuitively. Or like you felt like you were the castaways. You felt very left out, very lonely at times. But really you were misunderstood. And you didn't know how to understand yourself either, because you were so different to everyone else around you. People couldn't tell you how to understand yourself. You didn't really have examples. You had to learn along the way, you know. And this is what you're helping other people to understand, that they are who they are for a reason. They are the way they are because that's how they were born to be. And you also help people to see past conditions, protocols, social expectations, demands, projections, you know, all the things that aren't them, that they've confused as their identity. You help them to see past all of it and get to the core, genuine, authentic home of self. And then you show them that there is nothing imperfect about the individual whatsoever. And you're still learning this about yourself as well. And you're discovering this more about yourself the more you help other people to tap into this within themselves. And that's the beauty of it. It's an ever unfolding flower. We'll put it that way. Ever unfolding flower. You know what I mean? Okay, I just heard Billie Eilish, Ocean Eyes. I think you guys have felt really sad a lot of the time in your past pile number 4. And I don't think you really let people in to know how sad and the lowest of lows that you really have been. You've had to conquer a lot of your own emotional tides. I just heard the 7 C's, but from within. You've gone through the 7 energetic points, the emotional disruptances of life. You've been overly exposed to a lot of criticism, pile number 3. But that's why it helps you to speak to people and their own insecurities. You have to see, you see past people's projections of nastiness, and you really do speak to, you get to the core root of it, and you speak to the hearts of people. Yeah, with the Chariot of Ascension being here, spiritual work for the higher initiate. Yeah, you initiate people into their higher truth. You reintroduce them to source, to their guides, to spirit, to the universe, to a deeper meaning, and to love. Yeah. With the miracle of Isis, miraculous healing of the goddess. Yeah. You're here as an initiator, and that is your life purpose. You help introduce people back to their needs, and you help people to understand themselves better than they knew themselves, and it freaks them out, but that is what helps to activate the ascension. You really are in service of the highest and greatest good, pile number 3, and spirit really want you to know that, at least your ancestors and the divines that are around you. What do you want pile number 3 to know about their life purpose, please, and themselves? Your life purpose. You bring blessings upon people. Quite truthfully, when they're really doing the work, you bring blessings upon people. You guys are the earth angels. You guys are starseeds, earth angels. You guys are, I heard, reincarnated apostles, followers of the highest and greatest initiates and the highest and greatest good, which is source. Yeah, you guys have always followed this journey. You are very, very old souls. Like, you know what you're doing, palm number 3, you know. Uniting with the angelic self, yeah. You are an earth angel. And you help people to step into their own embodiment of becoming their own hero, their own earth angel. You initiate the earth angels. You wake them up. You really do. You're awakening the earth angels. You're part of the 144,000 for some of you who understand that reference. The hope I left that behind. For those of you who need to, or you understand the 144,000, but you don't have the background knowledge of the native origination of that prophecy, I would advise that you guys go and look into the Hopi's prophecy of the 144,000. It will give you a deeper insight as to where the spiritual trend has taken that prophecy, because it's been corrupted. And I don't know why that just came through so strongly, but I just saw 7 individuals, like, I don't know, in my third eye appear. And they all had their heads down with a scroll in front of them, and they were praying to it for cleansing, purification. You're here to help them do that. You're here to help to purify traditions that have been corrupted. There we go. Ancient Tantra of the soul scales of balance is just confirming what I was saying. I just split the deck if you guys didn't see it. Those are messages that I have for you guys today. Thank you so very much for stopping by. No, it's not. They say keep going. Sorry, guys. Okay, so how is it that the divine would advise you to carry on moving forward to help support your life purpose into being? Not that you guys need it. That's why I was going to end the reading, because I don't think you need it. Step into your vibration with the pyramid of light. It says step your vibration deeper into love. This is Christ consciousness, pile number 3. Love. And when I say love, I'm not meaning the third dimensional experience of love. I'm meaning the goodness of all. the collective of all things good. No things bad, only things good. That is Christ consciousness. The goodness that is existent in all, even the bad things, that is Christ consciousness. That is source, that is there. You know, this is what you're being asked to do. In the things that you recognize as bad, you're being invited to step deeper into inspecting that and asking yourself why it doesn't sit right with you, and ask yourself, what is the good? Where's the source that is in it? Where's source? Where's God in this? And you will find it, and that's what's going to kind of elevate you even more. It will raise your vibration to a point where your thoughts will become instantaneous in result if you carry on this path and keep raising your vibration, because that's what happens. You transcend the limitations of built understandings within the mind, and when you activate or empower all of the mind, you break past limitations, because once again, you're only limited by what you're not aware of. That's why they used to say, or Stoicism used to say, knowledge is power. Because yes, because it means your whole brain is active, you know. And the brain is just the doorway. It's the commandership of what you're going to do and where you're going to go, and understanding the true depth of the psyche and the possibility of what humans are capable of. You are here to rediscover that and prove to people outside of you that what they have been taught is not the limit, and there's so much more. If anything, they are just very limited, and you're here to break those paradigms open so that people can grow and heal and reunite with the truth of their souls, which is their source. So in that way, yeah, you're gonna bring blessings to people, which will in turn only welcome back blessings to you, because you attract what you put out into the world. And what you're putting out into the world is genuine love, which means genuine love will come back to you, and that comes back to you in so many infinite forms that you probably won't even be able to imagine for yourself. You know, there'll be things that you can, but a lot of things that you can't, because love is unimaginable. Because it's all the things that are good, and we've never experienced all the things that are good all at once unless we have connected to our source. So what would you advise them to continue to do moving forward? Focus on your blessings, focus on the goodness, and you will continue to manifest goodness. Focus on delivering the best version of yourself that you can to your everyday present moment, which I feel as though you already have been, which is why you're seeing such amazing progress. You deserve it. You really do deserve it, pile number 3. This is your destiny. All the results that you are starting to cultivate, that is your destiny. And you're only going to keep finding goodness come from the path that you're on, because it's an ever-evolving goodness. Goodness is ever-evolving. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what you're tapped into, which I love for you, which is Christ consciousness. Those are the messages I have for you today, pile. Number 3, I'm sorry if it didn't make sense, but I hope it did come positive service. At least entertained you for some time. With all that being said, pile number 3, thank you so much, and until next time, bye-bye. Hello, pile number 4, and welcome to your reading. Thank you guys so much for being here today. We're going to be taking a look at how it is that you're known in the heaven and hidden realms. First of all, we'll take a look at a couple of different aspects that you guys can use to identify if the reading is for you or not yet. So we'll take a look at where it is that you're at the time of viewing, and any channel messages from Spirit that might need to come through for you guys, okay? So for pile number 4, please. Have you guys been waiting? Just waiting. You've seen a lot of things come and go, but nothing's really happening. Okay. For pile number 4, please. Oh. Who was pile number 4 at the time of viewing? I feel like I'm held back. Do you guys feel like you guys have been held back? The devil, What's this? The Ace of Cups. And then we have the Hangman. Position? Upright. Okay. You guys could have been overthinking something a bit too much, pile number 4, recently. What was this devil about? Okay, you've had really big life changes going on here. There's either secrets around you about feelings that you're needing to look at from a different perspective, or there's insight to information that you have that you could have been obsessed with, or obsessively seeking, or obsessively retrieving inspiration from, that has been influencing your behaviors and your attitudes. And you're being called to look at it from a different perspective so that you can recorrect a cycle. There was a cycle that you're in where you were already manifesting things like conflict and drama without realizing it, because of something that you're holding on to, that you were keeping secret, and it was probably feelings that you had. And it was leaking through like your behaviors and your attitudes or your creations, or what you were using to inspire you and drive you, but you're being called to bring balance to it and let go of it or leave it behind, with the 8 of Swords and the Temperance coming out here, because what's happening is it's setting a new cycle in motion that will entrap you from being able to explore your horizons and your potentials, with the 4 of Wands being here, your happiness, union. So I feel like recently you've been brought to a stagnation to recorrect a path that you really don't want to go down. You think you might want to go down it, or you think it's the right road, is what I see here. But the 6 of Cups, yeah, you think it's what you want because it's something that you said you wanted from the past, but you've recently come to correct yourself because you've been logically piecing things together and seeing that the future of your current path isn't what you really want. It's just what made logical sense to you. With the 5 of Wands coming out here. Yeah. With the 4 of Swords and 5 of Wands. You guys could have been meditating on the conflict that's been taking place around you, or the drama or the competition that's been taking place around you. 6 of Swords and the 7 of Swords. 6 of Swords is in reverse. So yeah, you guys, with holding on to what you've been holding on to, you keep remanifesting a cycle that's making you reconfront all the things that you're not wanting to. Like with you holding on to what you don't like, pile number 4, you're not recognizing that you might be attracting it into your space without really wanting to experience it. And it's because you're refusing to let it go. So your subconscious mind is actually in the notion of bringing it to your attention because you're not letting it go, which must mean you consciously want it in some way. Your feelings don't want it and your beliefs don't want it, but your focus does, which is why it won't let it go. And this is what you're learning to correct right now. We have the Page of Pentacles, the 7 of Cups, that's really interesting to me. So with the Page of Pentacles and the 7 of Cups and the Magician coming back out here to clarify, this is saying that you're slowly removing illusions. And that's what you've been trying to manifest. You're removing illusions so that you can see your truest capabilities and potential, your untapped talents and skill sets. Or you're starting to see the relationship that you've had with yourself, and you're starting to recognize how you can improve the relationship you share with yourself. I'm just shuffling the cards here. So, I think you guys have had to go through a very deep cycle of healing and shifting, because I think you guys had found yourself in a really low space. So you've been having to work yourself out of where you were. And I think there's been a fear of vulnerability here because you've been very dominant within your mind, within the logic of things. You're being invited to learn how to feel more without having to intellectualize what you're feeling. Intellectualizing what you're feeling comes later once you understand your thought form process and what it is that you are feeling. Being vulnerable with yourself allows you to be vulnerable with people outside of you because you're no longer in denial of what it is that's really going on, which means you have no reason to be defensive of people seeing your truth because you're in acceptance of it. It's only when we're in resistance that we become triggered. We have the Nine of Pentacles and the Five of Wands here. Interesting. So independently, you guys have been confronting conflicts outside of you. And this is saying that you guys have been trying to make offerings towards people to transform, and you might have found yourself triggering people on accident in ways that you weren't meaning to. Like you're trying to reach people to help them to gain a perspective of what it was that they were doing. And they probably didn't want to see it. They rejected it, if anything, because the truths that you bring forward are very, very confronting. And what you might not understand at this point in time is that your truths can sometimes be hurtful. But what people outside of you, what you're getting perspective of, is they're resistant to taking ownership. Because if they took ownership, then they would have to accept that they were their own worst enemy and they are no longer a victim. You know what I'm saying? You de-victimize people in your world around you, and that's how you're known by the divine and your spirit guides here with the Eight of Pentacles and Page of Wands coming out here. You've got a lot of earth and fire energy. You could be an earth or fire sign, sun, moon, rising, north node, and Mars, Mercury. Damn, anywhere in your chart, may as well. So how is it that you're known by the divine with the Page of Wands here and the Eight of Pentacles? You guys have a lot of good ideas, but they're fleeting. You would do very well kind of working with others, building pathways and philosophies for yourself. With the Mars and Sagittarius here, setting yourself free by following your own inspirations. And with Saturn and Aries, this is following your own instinctual guidance. Following what it is that you're passionate about and what it is that you believe in. Pile number 4. And we have conversation and perseverance. Yeah, stick to what it is that you know and what it is that you believe in. You're on that path for a reason, with selflessness coming out here. The High Lord of Gratitude and Service and the Rainbow Prince, which is all about conversation and perseverance. Number 2, 6-2 is going to have a numerology meaning for you that is going to be relevant for your life path or your life journey or life advice at this time towards stepping into your life purpose. So how is it that the divine would describe you? As someone who takes conscious action. You like to do things with a reason. You like to do things with direction and in ways that you know are going to show results. I don't think you are people who like to waste your time or other people's time. You don't like to speak without reason. You're very selfless at the same time, and you're very good at sticking to what it is that you believe in. You're very independent, and you've developed yourself up from nothing. You're someone who's very creative, very passionate, and very sensual. You're seen as very attractive by the people outside of you. You're also seen to be as someone who has a very positive attitude or positive expectations of life outside of you. Not high expectations, but positive expectations. You don't expect people to be perfect. You just require people to do what they can. 2 moments, please. Sorry guys, we had a visitor come. Okay, so where were we? I think that happens to you guys a lot too. You have a lot of unexpected visitors come to you seeking out your information, seeking out your perspective or your wisdom. It's more so your honesty, pile number 4. Like, people respect your honesty. You are someone people can trust because you are bluntly honest. In the same token, I think people are intimidated by you. because of your honesty. It makes people confront what they're not ready to accept, you know. And that's how the divine would describe you. I also think that they would describe you as someone who is non-responsive to people who are all talk, non-inactive, if that makes sense. Like within their mind, there's a lot of people who like to talk themselves up around you, and there has been forever. But I think you're the type of person to put action behind what it is that you have in mind, rather than speak about what it is that you have in mind and then you speak about it once it's done. You know what I'm saying? This protects you and your energy and preserves your expectations of self and your creative abilities. So how is it that the divine would describe your life purpose here? Oh, okay, so we're going to the alien race deck. You guys are star seeds. You have very strong connections to the universal cycles or universal laws. You guys could have deep connections to astrology, alignments, the zodiacs, cosmology. I don't know, some of you have a deep fascination with like NASA or something, or like studying conspiracies. These are examples that have come up in the past, but let's see, what is the life purpose of those who have come to view pile number 4? So we have artistic integrity and honesty. That makes sense because I picked up on that. You guys are very, very honest with those around you, and that's a big part to play of your life purpose. You're here to rip away the illusions, which is something that's been a common theme in all of the piles, but they're all expressed in different ways. You're here to help people to become more grounded with the truth of who it is that they are, the truth of their lives, their reliability within themselves, their untapped potential, their untapped capabilities. You're here to help people to understand their own consequences of their actions and how to take ownership over how it is that they're building in their own worlds through their own actions, belief systems, through their own practices and unmoral behaviors. I don't know, perhaps you are very sensitive to like wrongdoings, very, very sensitive to it, you know. I see you guys as shamans, witch doctors. I see you having deep connections with animals. I see you having connections with plants, medicines, and the elements. You guys help people to face the things that they feel like they never could. And you help people to feel empowered in places where they feel helpless. Like, for example, you help people to reclaim their power from worldly issues that they have no real direct influence over. You help people to bring them back to the moment that matters, which is now in their life. You know what I'm saying? What is the purpose of those who have come to view pile number 4, please? Is to reflect and to transcend judgment, with this card being here, which is the Lady of the Mirror, and then you have the Queen of Light, illumination, enlightenment, and celebration, and the Rainbow Prince, which is compensation and perseverance once again. So you help to teach people the law of compensation, which is like you get what you give. You're a mirror to people. You probably uphold justice, with the number 44 being here, number 15, which reduces down to 6, and number 26, which reduces down to 8. You help people to transform what they need to acknowledge and accept, which transforms rejection and resistance, and that illuminates truth. It also ceases the need for suffering, because suffering is only created by the mind, which is then felt by the nervous system of the body, which is then adopted by the rest of our inner being. You know, it doesn't happen in that equation, but you get what I'm saying, part number 4. So you're here to help show people that there are better ways of dealing with life and dealing with things that they get triggered by. You help people to think before they act, and to really understand themselves and what motivates them. You know what I'm saying? You help people to see themselves. You're a living mirror, like you really are. You help people to understand why they do what they do, and you help people to fix what has been done. So you're a path corrector, if that makes sense, pile number 4. What is your life purpose? We have all tied up in reverse. We have holding a coin, and then we have action. You help people to understand what brings them inner security. What is true security? And it starts with the self. You help people to get in touch with the core inner being. You help people to understand what they need to work on to transcend the challenges and obstacles that they have. And this is why you've probably gone through so many challenges, but through other people. And why you attract so many people in with so many different problems, pile number 4, is because you learn from them at the same time, which gives you experience in a different way. You realize the experience, which is helpful, because when you come into positions that information becomes helpful, you apply it, and then you realize the wisdom in it, and it puts you in positions to really achieve what it is that you set out to do. You also help to do this for other people outside of you. You help them to learn what they need to do to nurture their strengths and their skill sets and their untapped talents into like maturation. You help people to understand what's great about them and how they can capitalize on what's already comes naturally to them. You help remind people why they're important just through encouraging them to be themselves, but in the best possible way, rather than use themselves and their qualities in a negative way. So yeah, you are very motivational people. You help people to transform and to step into what it is that they want to become, rather than them holding themselves back. You don't allow people to make excuses around you, and this is actually very, very helpful. This is why people depend on your honesty and will only come to you when they really do want results. They will only ask for your opinion, when they really do need change, pile number 4. And you might have thought that people avoided you because, I don't know, you feel uncomfortable with yourself at times, or used to at least. But then you came to discover that no, people avoid you because they're afraid of the truth, and you are not afraid of confronting the truth. You accept the truth for what it is, and you share that. That's why you can see things so clearly and see through people. You know what I mean? Because you are not afraid of the truth. You take ownership of what you contribute, and you place ownership where it belongs. And that's what people don't like, being held accountable, because you disillusion their own perspectives. You rip away their filters that they condition their brains to see through. Yeah, and this is what probably irritates you. This is why you probably get triggered by people outside of you, because it's the ignorance and arrogance of the individual. And you help people to remember that they can be more than how they're limiting themselves. Like, you get angry because you see the damage in it, where people think that you're getting angry because they're being fake, when it's like, no, I'm not angry that you're fake. I'm angry that you're being fake, and how you're doing it is harmful for you in the long run, and you won't listen to me because you think I'm trying to be right when I'm not trying to be right. I'm trying to help you, but you don't want to listen, and that's the problem. You're here to speak to the nature of the psyche, which is experienced by all humans, which means you have the capability of reaching much, 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 much more people with your message than what you are aware of. But what is needed here is growth and trial and error, of exploration of how you're going to create your message and yourself. How are you going to recreate who you've become in a passionate way? That is your purpose. You're at a point now, the reason why you're stagnated, or you feel stuck, or you feel like there's no more progress, is because you're being called to ask how you're going to actualize what you know and what you've been through and the wisdom that you've got, because you know it's going to be helpful for many. But you also know and are prepared to run into the ones that don't actually want the help, which is going to make you angry. So through this process, you're going to learn to discern who wants help and who doesn't. And the way that you can do this is by simply protecting your energy, by allowing those who need you to come to you. You don't need to do anything apart from share the truth. That's all you need to do. Embodiment of truth, and the rest will come. The rest doesn't matter as long as it's truthful, because that is your life purpose. Is your number one value in this life is truth, honesty, because that's what's going to bring confidence. That's what's going to bring union for you. That's what's going to bring connection for you. So the voice of many is going to be important. The message that people have, you're going to be very sensitive to what it is that they say, and you're very intentional with your words, which is helping you as well. So yeah, I also see here that you are here to bring spiritual messages that will help people to get to understand new possibilities of themselves, or new versions of themselves that they have the ability to tap into. So for example, you might connect people to their psychic abilities. You might connect people to professions. You might help people connect to deeper understandings of healthcare benefits or health warnings. You might bring important messages about politics or government. You're helping people to really realize what they partake in this lifetime. Because there's a lot of the world that walk around like zombies, not knowing what they're doing and waiting for the next person to tell them who to be. And you're going to be the person that's like, actually, no, I'm not going to tell you who to be. I'm going to tell you to be you. That's how I'm going to tell you who to be. I'm going to tell you to be you. Because you're going to find that there's a lot of people who are just recreations of the last one. Unfortunately, that is the matrix. You guys see through that, from what I see here, and you've done a lot of work to break outside of that, and you help other people in this lifetime to do the same thing. So yeah, you've had to outgrow a lot of people-pleasing habits, and you also help other people outside of you to recognize their own people-pleasing habits so that they can break out of that and create a new life by no longer committing to things that are actually damaging in the long run, self-sabotaging, or hurtful to extended groups of people. Because when we ignore the issue, we're not treating the issue. We're just pushing it, hiding it, covering it up, you know? And you really don't do this cover up business. You really do the nitty gritty of confront it, face it, accept it, and then you can change it and heal it and fix it. You know. So yeah, your advice moving forward here is no need to fear your path. Remember how powerful you are based on what it is you've already been through. You've gone through so much and overcome so much of the impossible already. You're the type of people who have walked like a very rare path that not many would have the power to overcome, get through, outgrow. Pile number 4, and that's what your guides are really wanting you to remember. So another thing, try not to make false promises to yourself. If you're going to tell yourself that you're going to do something, make sure you stick to it, because this is what's going to bond the faith that you share with yourself. The more you break the promises you share with yourself, the more damaging to your confidence and your conviction you become. You become damaging to the confidence that you can have in your ability to act with conviction, and having confidence in your independence to go after what it is that you want will be damaged the more that you tell yourself you're going to do things and you don't follow through. So there's just a warning here. If make promises, stick to them, and be aware of what you are saying and committing yourself to. This is going to help you to take advantage of the sweetness that will become available to you, and it will help you to build boundaries with what's good that can then become toxic. It will help you to stay prepared and feel like you're 10 steps ahead, so that nothing can surprise you or get in the way of creating the best possible outcome through your life. Your life purpose is to be who it is that you are, to speak the truth and disillusion confusion. Pile number 4. Those are the messages that I have for you today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Of course, you guys have so much more left to your life purpose that I can't cover today, but these are just things that came up most dominantly in the energy pile for. Thank you so much once again, and until next time. Bye-bye.